post-graduation qualification without any doubt, and joined an international company exporting vehicles to overseas market. At my 24 years old, I was sent to Cuba market as a female outstanding sales representative. Cuba market, I work in Cuba market to maintain and keep the relationship with the Cuba government. For many young employees, working abroad not only means making more money but also better career. So in my colleagues' eyes, I was lucky that I worked in Cuba, and I thought I would enjoy working abroad when I get the opportunity and start working in Cuba. But I thought my thought is not right. I couldn't enjoy it. Cuba is a real socialism society. People look very happy, although they are very poor. People there are equal because they have the same education, they have the same health care and the same education. Thus, I have to the same health care and the same salary. So it's very important because there's no comparison and there is no pain among people. People are good at dancing, singing, and painting. They don't need to pursue happiness. They live in a happy life. Cuban people work in an efficient way. It's a big contrast to Shanghai because people in Shanghai are always busy and hurry up. I could do nothing in Cuba except waiting and standing by. Thus, I had to adjust my working pace to match the Cuban pace. Working in an efficient way is useless in Cuba. In Cuba, you have to learn to enjoy the Latino music, enjoy the Latino dancing, and enjoy the life, enjoy the beautiful nature. Camping sea looks silent, but the waves beat my heart again and again. The nature world is standing there billions of years without any voice, but it says a lot to my mind and my heart. I feel how limited I am as a person. When I die, the nature is still there. Comparing to the nature, how limited and short my life is. The nature doesn't need to prove itself by working hard or becoming successful. But people in our society, we have to prove ourselves to be successful. If we want to prove ourselves to be successful, we must becoming very rich, because there's only one definition about how to define one people to be successful. You must be the rich person. I thought make money is the real my first goal for my life. I began thinking about my life. Cuba teaches me to slow down and reflect myself deeply. It's my first time to sit down on the stone along the beach side, seeing the sunset, thinking about myself. I was always hurried up to chase what I think is good. Is the thing really I eager for? What's the meaning of life? Is life only about the prayer? Is the prayer only about business? Is the business only about making money? I have to know more about the world and myself. After more than 3 years working in the international company, I resigned from my first job. I joined a well-known media company famous for publishing the Chinese rich list every year. I want to see what's the meaning of becoming the rich. I met lots of rich people and so-called celebrities in the marketing events and private gathering. I couldn't find any happy or kind faces among them, except the people hiding themselves and marketing themselves with the purpose of exchanging something. Everyone's behavior is driven by desire. Desire becomes the masters of the people. The people becomes the slaves of the desire. It's really crazy that people only become a tool to make money. Competition and comparing are common in the marketplaces. It's really difficult to find a real relationship among people. Everyone is constructed to be tough and aggressive. That means you are professional. Of course, I was also constructed by that culture, but I knew it's not true me. We are packed with many labels. Everything comes to who you are. Can I be an independent person as the nature? At the same time, I found many friends around me who worked many years in the marketplace had more or less psychological problems. What does human being exist for? When I face and embrace the nature, I ask myself, what's the purpose of my life in the world? For the majority of people, making money becomes the main reason to exist in the world. That's right. Because the majority of people follow the social value without critical thinking. Even the social value has made them in pain. People exist not only for making money, also for their own purpose. Either the nature world or the real marketplace let me know that I don't like living only for making money. That's the finality of life. I want to live a meaningful and creative life. So I decided to study psychology during my weekends to know more about people and how the society constructs the people and how should people live in the society. Fortunately, I got the license of psychological counseling in August of 2012. Psychological opens a new horizon for me to know deeply about people and myself. But it's not enough. In the same year, in order to follow my inner call, I left Edward, my husband, in Shanghai and headed for Hong Kong, along to study theology for 3 years as a full-time student in the Chinese University of Hong Kong.
Okay. In 2012, my wife Liz went to Hong Kong to study in theology. So I was in Shanghai alone. So I made a very huge decision for myself. I quit a job from a previous job. It's also a very famous media group. It's a state-owned media group called CBN. And I shifted my job to another very famous TV reality show brand, which is called The Voice, and the Chinese Got Talent. Being as a TV director, I was very proud of my work, and I enjoyed the work there. And because I have many chance to work with singers, the idols, the celebrities, and I enjoyed my work life. And I even enjoyed by showing off my pictures with singers, with idols on Weibo and on WeChat. But I didn't realize that I was in a life without love for over 2 years because my wife was in another city. So I made a decision again to quit that job and move to Hong Kong to accompany with my wife to finish her study and be together with her.
St. Edward's company. I was liberated and enlightened by studying theology. God expects every human being to be herself or himself. Following your heart, you will find your true selves. After graduation, my husband and I started film documentary in Hong Kong. We would like to see how did the missionaries live and what did they do in Hong Kong. And I want to know what's the true happiness mean. It's beyond our imagination that we could make documentary.
Okay, let me introduce something about our first documentary project in Hong Kong. As we all know, China has much influenced by Western missionaries in past 200 years. But since 1950s, most of the Western missionaries were not allowed working in mainland. They were not.
This afternoon. So as I said, my name is Peter. I'm an EAP tutor in Sealy. So I teach first year students. So I'm teaching RWAC, hooray, LSAC as well. Okay, so in my talk today, so I'm going to talk to you about reading and specifically about extensive reading. So I'm going to begin by just asking you about your experiences of reading. I'm going to talk about different types of knowledge and how that relates to language learning. And I'm also going to link this to extensive reading. And I'm going to tell you what extensive reading is, because you probably don't know at the moment. I'm going to tell you why it's useful. And I'm going to tell you how you can do it at UNNC. Okay, so I'm going to start with a couple of questions. So question number one, please put your hand in the air if, not yet, wait for the question.
Sorry.
That's okay. Please put your hand in the air if you think reading in English is easy. Okay, thank you to the tutors at the back. Good for people think it's easy. Please put your hand in the air if you think reading in English is fun. Again, thank you to the tutors at the back. One or two more hands. But generally, not many hands in the air, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully, by the end of the talk, I can change your mind. I hope at the end of this talk you will think reading can be easy in English and it can also be fun. Okay, so I want you to imagine one of these two children is you. When you first started to learn to read Chinese or whatever your first language is. Now, when you're reading as a child, with your parents or your grandparents maybe, it's fun, isn't it? You enjoy it when you're a child. So, we know that reading can be fun. Everyone has enjoyed reading at some point in their life. I don't believe anybody who says that reading can't be fun, because it can be. I want you to go back to this experience of enjoying reading. So I hope that you will know how to go back to this experience by the end of the talk. Okay, I also want you to think back about when you were a child, maybe even before you started school. And I want you to try and think about this question. So sorry, I'm talking about grammar. I know you didn't come to hear about grammar. I won't talk about it for very long, I promise. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I want you to think about how much grammar did you know in your first language, in Chinese or whatever your first language is, when you were a small child, maybe about 4 or 5 years old, just before you started school. Okay, so we've got 5 different options. Put your hand up if you think number 1 is true for you, that you had no knowledge of your first language grammar when you were a child. Put your hand up. Okay, put your hand up if you think number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Okay, good. I'm glad no one said number 5. I'm sure it's not possible to know everything about Chinese grammar. Okay, I think for most of you who speak Chinese as a first language, that number 4 was true. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why that's true in a minute. So, I'm going to show you another example from my family. So I have two sisters, one called Susan and one called Helen. And they both live in England. They're English like me, so they speak English as a first language. And recently I asked them a question. I asked them a question about grammar. So this was the question I asked them. Without Googling the answer, so no cheating, can you tell me A, what the present perfect tense is in English, and B, how do we use it? What do you think their answer was? They're not English language teachers like me. Okay, I know what the present perfect is, I promise. Okay, so this was their reply. Susan said, present perfect, no idea. Maybe something like what we are doing, but only do it once. Is that right? No, it's complete rubbish, isn't it? Sorry Susan, but good try, but you're wrong. My older sister Helen, oops. Sorry, no idea. So both of my sisters they have no idea about present perfect and how it's used. But my sisters are quite good at English. I think they speak English quite well. I'll give them some credit, they're quite good at English. In fact, I would say they're fluent at English. They have very good English, yet for some reason they can't explain what the present perfect is, even though they speak English very well. So how can we explain this? So we can explain this by thinking about the type of knowledge that they know in English. So we can think about explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge. Okay, two different types of knowledge that we use for language learning. So, explicit knowledge is conscious. Now that means you are aware of it. Okay, you are aware you have it. And when you use it, you're making an effort. You're trying hard to use it. So for example, when you do a grammar exercise in the textbook, you're using your explicit knowledge. Okay, you're thinking about the answer. It's difficult maybe. And we can compare this then to implicit knowledge. So this is unconscious. That means we are not aware when we're using it. We're not making an effort to use it. Okay, it's easy to use. Okay, we're not thinking hard when we use implicit knowledge. Okay, just a reference. Okay, so just to demonstrate this, so Susan and Helen, they can use the present perfect when they're speaking. Okay, they don't make mistakes using the present perfect tense. So they have implicit knowledge of the present perfect in English. But they don't have explicit knowledge because they can't describe it. They don't even know what it is. They've probably never heard of it before. We don't learn the present perfect in England. You'll get the same answer if you ask most English people, what is the present perfect? Most people will say, we have no idea. And that's because they don't have explicit knowledge of it. They only have implicit knowledge. Okay, but you can compare this to many second language learners. So lots of second language learners, both in China and around the world, they have good explicit knowledge of grammar. So lots of students can describe the present perfect. They can just say what it is, maybe some grammar rules. But there's also lots of students who can't use the present perfect very well when they're speaking. And again, that's because they don't have implicit knowledge of the present perfect. I hope you can see that implicit knowledge is very useful. Which would you rather be like? Would you rather be like Susan and Helen? Or would you rather be like lots of second language learners around the world? People who can describe grammar, but they can't use it. I personally think that the first one is better. Okay, I think it's better to have implicit knowledge about a language rather than explicit knowledge. Okay, so my talk is about extensive reading. So you're probably thinking, well, how is this relevant to extensive reading? I think extensive reading, doing extensive reading, can help build up your implicit knowledge, can build up your implicit language knowledge. Okay? I think to build up your implicit language knowledge, you need to be engaged in real communication. And extensive reading, for me, is real communication. Doing grammar exercises in the book is not real communication. And in my opinion, won't help you build up your implicit knowledge. But I want you to get lots of implicit knowledge, not explicit knowledge. Okay, so, as I said, extensive reading is real communication for me. And this is important. So, oh, okay, I forgot this, sorry. So yeah, they're both important for language learning. I think you need implicit knowledge to be fluent in the language. I think you can use explicit knowledge at low levels. I think it can help you when you're a beginner. But if you want to be an advanced level of English or any language, then you need implicit knowledge. That's not just my opinion, this is written in research as well. Okay, and the reason for that is because using explicit knowledge when you're speaking, for example, because you're thinking hard, it's very slow. So if you're speaking English using only explicit knowledge, then you're going to speak very slowly. Like when I speak Chinese. Okay, I'm a beginner at Chinese, so I don't have much implicit knowledge of Chinese. It's mostly explicit knowledge. So I'm very slow when I speak Chinese. Very frustrating to listen to me speak Chinese. You don't want to hear it, I promise you. So using explicit knowledge is very slow. The same when you're not just speaking, but when you're reading or when you're writing. It's a much slower process. Okay, because you're thinking all the time when you're doing it. But implicit knowledge is automatic and it's fast. When you speak your first language, you're using implicit knowledge. When you're speaking Chinese, you don't think very hard, do you? You just say it, like I do when I'm speaking English. Okay, but I want you to be like that in your second language, and I think it's possible as well. Okay, so back to extensive reading, sorry. So as I said, extensive reading is important and useful, I believe, to help build up your implicit language knowledge. Okay, and so extensive reading, it's fun. So when you do extensive reading, it shouldn't be boring. It's not like doing RWAC homework or doing whatever boring text you have to read in your studies that you don't like reading. It's fun. Okay, it should be enjoyable. Like when you were reading as a child in your first language. It means you deciding what you want to read. Okay, you don't need to listen to your RWAC tutor or any other tutor. You decide for yourself what you want to read. It's also easy. Doesn't have to be difficult. It can be easy. And as I will show you soon, there are books in this university for everybody in this room to read at an easy level. These books do exist. I'm going to tell you where they are in a minute. Okay, and it should be fast as well, not slow, and difficult, and boring. And without a dictionary. Okay, so no using, what's that dictionary everybody uses? Yodao or something? No using a dictionary. Okay, it should be easy enough to do without a dictionary. Okay, so the way to do it is to use graded readers. So these are books that are written specifically for English language learners like you. Okay, not for people like me, but for people like you. And we've got lots of these books in the library. I'm going to show you in a minute where they are. Just before I do that, I want to keep you waiting. I just want to show you some research to show you why extensive reading is a good idea. It's not just my opinion. It's just something I dreamed up one day. It's been researched a lot. Really, there is lots and lots of research about extensive reading, which is good because we know that it works. And this is what some of the studies say about extensive reading. Increases reading speed, increases reading ability, even writing ability, even speaking ability, general language ability, vocabulary, even your attitude and motivation towards learning English. So lots of different benefits to extensive reading, not just to reading. Of course it will help you with your reading, but it helps with all areas of your language ability. So something really useful for you. Okay, so this is where you can do it. This is my favourite part of the university. I think this is the best place in UNMC. But unfortunately, it seems like it's a little bit of a secret. It seems like not many students know about this part of the university. Now this is in the library. It's in room 105 of the library. So when you go in the library, go downstairs and it's straight in front of you. And then you've got all these books, these graded readers. Can anyone guess how many books there are on these shelves? Take a guess. How many? More, higher. 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 5,000. I haven't counted every single book, but I would say about 5,000. I'm confident there are more than 5,000 books. So there's a book for everyone. A book that everyone can enjoy, and a book that's at the right level for everyone. Now this is also important. Choosing your level. Oh yeah, I forgot this. This is a website you can use to do extensive reading as well. The texts are shorter here. They're not as long as reading a book. But it's still a really great resource, I think. So it's called er-central.com. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We log on to it. Okay, so lots of text available here. Okay, so back to level. So choosing your level is very important. If it's too easy, then you won't learn very much. If it's too difficult, then you won't understand, and therefore you also won't learn. So in the library, we've got some labels on the bookshelves. For A, B, C, D, E, up to level I. So level A is the easiest, and level I is the most difficult. Okay, so each book has a sticker on it that says the level. Now, to find a level, you need to just pick up a book in the library, pick up one of these graded readers, and you want to understand about 98% of the words in this book. Okay? This is what experts on extensive reading recommend. This means, in practice, 5 words that you don't know per page is enough. If there are more than 5 words on a page, on one of these extensive graded readers that you don't know, then it's too difficult and you should go down the level. Okay, so it's important that you read at the right level. So you should be comfortable when you're reading. Remember, without a dictionary. Okay, so you should understand quite easily. You can also find a level test on, so we have a Read Now Moodle page. This has got some activities for extensive reading, like reading circles for first year students and reading marathon as well. So if you scan that should take you to the Moodle page. The Moodle page looks a bit like this. So the reading level test is at the top. So you can do the reading level test through the Read Now Moodle page. Okay, you can also, that's the just explanation of how to do the test. Okay, you can also do it on a website that I mentioned before. Okay, they also have a test, so go to What's My Level. Okay, so once you've found your level, you then want to choose a book that is interesting for you. Okay, you don't want to read a boring book, otherwise it's not fun. And we want it to be fun, remember. So the books in the library are organised into different genres. Now a genre is just a type of book. So think about films as a good example. So films have genres too, like an action film, like a horror film, like a romance film. These are all different types of genre. And graded readers and books, novels in general, also can be divided into different genres. So the genres in our library for the graded readers are crime, classics, so this is famous stories like Pride and Prejudice, for example. One's based on TV and film, or the other way around. So, for example, we have, I can't remember, we've got some James Bond books in the library. Like Casino Royale, I know we have that book in the library. Human interest, this is a few different things. So it could be romance, it could be drama, or based around family. We have non-fiction books, so not stories. This could be biographies, things based on real life. Books which are a collection of short stories based around a similar topic, maybe ghost stories, for example. And then we just have a category called Other, because we had a few left over. So there's some adventure or sci-fi books, but we don't have very many. We just put them all together in one category. Okay, so that's how to choose a book. These are the labels in the library. So you can see these genre labels on the bookshelves. And as you can see, they've got coloured stickers. So if you pick up a book in the library, one sticker will show the level, A, B, C, D, E, F, E, etc. One sticker will show the genre. So remember, we've got different colours for the different genres. Okay, so hopefully this can help you choose a book that's both at the right level and is interesting for you. Okay, so just some advice if you want to do extensive reading. This is not my advice actually, this is from some experts on extensive reading. I'm not an expert, I'm just interested in it. I'm just a CV tutor. Okay, so choose books that are interesting, choose books that are easy, don't use a dictionary, aim for general understanding. It doesn't have to be too detailed understanding, you just need to understand the story. Skip words you don't know, so don't use a dictionary, just keep reading. Be realistic about how much you can read each week. So that might mean setting a target. I tell my RWAC students, some of whom are in the audience today, I can see, I tell them, be realistic, do 10 minutes every day. That's realistic, and make it a habit. So try to make it a habit and do it every day, just a small amount every day. That way you're more likely to continue doing it over a long period of time. Okay, and the other thing you can do is just keep a record of the books you are reading. And this can help with motivation to help maintain your interest. Okay, so there are some reading logs on the Moodle page that I mentioned before. This is what they look like, and this is where they are. Okay, so just below the reading level test. Okay, so final thing to remember. One thing to remember. If you only remember one thing from this talk, I want it to be this. Okay, learning a language is unique. Okay, it's not like learning other subjects. It's different. It's different to learning historical facts. It's different to learning algebra. It's different to learning about economic theories. It's different to learning how to play tennis or to learn to swim. It's different to learning how to play the piano. It's different to anything else. Okay, I think language learning is unique in the way that you learn it. And that means how you learn it must also be different to how you learn other things. Okay, don't just go through the same process that you do when you're learning algebra, for example. Okay, I think that's enough for now. So, thank you very much. Okay, should we wait for the... True for you, that you had no knowledge of your first language grammar when you were a child? Put your hands up. Okay, put your hands up if you think number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. Okay, good. I'm glad no one said number 5. I'm sure it's not possible to know everything about Chinese grammar. Okay, I think for most of you who speak Chinese as a first language, that number 4 was true. Okay, and we're going to tell you why that's true in a minute. So, I'm going to show you another example from my family. So, I have 2 sisters, one called Susan and one called Helen. And they both live in England. They're English, like me, so they speak English as a first language. And recently, I asked them a question. I asked them a question about grammar. So this was a question I asked them. Without Googling the answer, so no cheating, can you tell me, A, what the present perfect tense is in English, and B, how do we use it? What do you think their answer was? They're not English language teachers like me. Okay, I know what the present perfect is, I promise. Okay, so this was their reply. Susan said, present perfect, no idea. Maybe something like what we are doing, but only do it once. Is that right? No, it's complete rubbish, isn't it? Sorry, Susan, but good try, but you were wrong. My older sister, Helen, oops. Sorry. No idea. So both of my sisters they have no idea about present perfect and how it's used. But my sisters are quite good at English. I think they speak English quite well. I'll give them some credit. They're quite good at English. In fact, I would say they're fluent in English. So they have very good English, yet for some reason they can't explain what the present perfect is, even though they speak English very well. So how can we explain this? So we can explain this by thinking about the type of knowledge that they know in English. So we can think about explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge. Okay, two different types of knowledge that we use for language learning. So explicit knowledge is conscious. Now that means you are aware of it. Okay, you are aware you have it. And when you use it, you're making an effort. You're trying hard to use it. So for example, when you do a grammar exercise in a textbook, you're using your explicit knowledge. Okay, you're thinking about the answer. It's difficult maybe. And we can compare this then to implicit knowledge. So this is unconscious. That means we are not aware when we're using it. We're not making an effort to use it. Okay, it's easy to use. Okay, we're not thinking hard when we use implicit knowledge. Okay, this is the reference. Okay, so just to demonstrate this, so Susan and Helen, they can use the present perfect when they're speaking. Okay? They don't make mistakes using the present perfect tense. So they have implicit knowledge of the present perfect in English. But they don't have explicit knowledge because they can't describe it. They don't even know what it is. They've probably never heard of it before. We don't learn the present perfect in England. You'll get the same answer if you ask most English people, what is the present perfect? Most people will say, we have no idea. And that's because they don't have explicit knowledge of it. They only have implicit knowledge. Okay, but you can compare this to many second language learners. So lots of second language learners, both in China and around the world, they have good explicit knowledge of grammar. So lots of students can describe the present perfect. They can just say what it is, maybe some grammar rules. But there's also lots of students who can't use the present perfect very well when they're speaking. And again, that's because they don't have implicit knowledge of the present perfect. So I hope you can see that implicit knowledge is very useful. So which would you rather be like? Would you rather be like Susan and Helen? Or would you rather be like lots of second language learners around the world? People who can describe grammar, but they can't use it. I personally think that the first one is better. Okay, I think it's better to have implicit knowledge about a language rather than explicit knowledge. Okay, so my talk is about extensive reading. So you're probably thinking, well, how is this relevant to extensive reading? I think extensive reading, doing extensive reading, can help build up your implicit knowledge, can build up your implicit language knowledge. Okay? I think to build up your implicit language knowledge, you need to be engaged in real communication. And extensive reading, for me, is real communication. Doing grammar exercises in the book is not real communication. And in my opinion, won't help you build up your implicit knowledge. I want you to get lots of implicit knowledge, not explicit knowledge. Okay, so as I said, extensive reading is real communication for me, and this is important. So, oh, okay, I forgot this, sorry. So yeah, they're both important for language learning. I think you need implicit knowledge to be fluent in the language. I think you can use explicit knowledge at low levels. I think it can help help you when you're a beginner, but if you want to be an advanced level of English or any language, then you need implicit knowledge. That's not just my opinion, this is written in research as well. Okay, and the reason for that is because using explicit knowledge when you're speaking, for example, because you're thinking hard, it's very slow. So if you're speaking English using only explicit knowledge, then you're going to speak very slowly, like when I speak Chinese. Okay, I'm a beginner at Chinese, but I don't have much implicit knowledge of Chinese. It's mostly explicit knowledge. So I'm very slow when I speak Chinese. Very frustrating to listen to me speak Chinese. You don't want to hear it, I promise you. So using explicit knowledge is very slow. The same when you're not just speaking, but when you're reading or when you're writing. It's a much slower process, okay, because you're thinking all the time when you're doing it. But implicit knowledge is automatic and it's fast. When you speak your first language, you're using implicit knowledge. When you're speaking Chinese, you don't think very hard, do you? You just say it, like I do when I'm speaking English. Okay, but I want you to be like that in your second language, and I think it's possible as well. Okay, so back to extensive reading, sorry. So as I said, extensive reading is important and useful, I believe, to help build up your implicit language knowledge. Okay, and so extensive reading, it's fun. So when you do extensive reading, it shouldn't be boring. It's not like doing RWAC homework or doing whatever boring text you have to read in your studies that you don't like reading. It's fun. Okay, it should be enjoyable. It's like when you were reading as a child in your first language. It means you deciding what you want to read. Okay, you don't need to listen to your RWAC tutor or any other tutor. You decide for yourself what you want to read. It's also easy. It doesn't have to be difficult. It can be easy. And as I will show you soon, there are books in this university for everybody in this room to read at an easy level. These books do exist. I'm going to tell you where they are in a minute. Okay, and it should be fast as well, not slow, and difficult, boring. And without a dictionary. Okay, so no using, what's that dictionary everybody uses? Yodao or something? No using a dictionary. Okay, it should be easy enough to do without a dictionary. Okay, so the way to do it is to use graded readers. So these are books that are written specifically for English language learners like you. Okay, not for people like me, but for people like you. And we've got lots of these books in the library. I'm going to show you in a minute where they are. Just before I do that, I want to keep you waiting. I just want to show you some research to show you why extensive reading is a good idea. It's not just my opinion. It's just something I dreamed up one day. It's been researched a lot. Really, there is lots and lots of research about extensive reading, which is good because we know that it works. And this is what some of the studies say about extensive reading. Increases reading speed, increases reading ability, even writing ability, even speaking ability, general language ability, vocabulary, even your attitude and motivation towards learning English. So lots of different benefits to extensive reading, not just to reading. Of course it will help you with your reading, but it helps with all areas of your language ability. So something really useful for you. Okay, so this is where you can do it. This is my favourite part of the university. I think this is the best place in UNNC. But unfortunately, it seems seems like it's a little bit of a secret. It seems like not many students know about this part of the university. Now this is in the library. It's in room 105 of the library. So when you go in the library, go downstairs and it's straight in front of you. And then you've got all these books, these graded readers. Can anyone guess how many books there are on these shelves? Take a guess. How many? More, higher. 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 5,000. I haven't counted every single book, but I would say about 5,000. I'm confident there are more than 5,000 books. So there's a book for everyone. A book that everyone can enjoy, and a book that's at the right level for everyone. Now this is also important, choosing your level. Oh yeah, I forgot this. This is a website you could use to do extended reading as well. The texts are shorter here. They're not as long as reading a book. But it's still a really great resource. So it's called er-central.com. Okay, so that's what it looks like. You log on to it. Okay, so lots of text available. Okay, so back to level. So choosing your level is very important. If it's too easy, then you won't learn very much. If it's too difficult, then you won't understand, and therefore you also won't learn. So in the library, we've got some labels on the bookshelves. The A, B, C, D, E, up to level I. So level A is the easiest, and level I is the most difficult. Okay, so each book has a sticker on it that says the level. Now, to find a level, you need to just pick up a book in the library, pick up one of these graded readers, and you want to understand about 98% of the words in this book. Okay? This is what experts on extensive reading recommend. This means, in practice, 5 words that you don't know per page is enough. If there are more than 5 words on a page, on one of these extensive readers and graded readers that you don't know, then it's too difficult and you should go down the level. Okay, so it's important that you read at the right level. So you should be comfortable when you're reading. Remember, without a dictionary. Okay, so you should understand quite easily. You can also find a level test on, so we have a Read Now Moodle page. This has got some activities for extensive reading, like reading circles for first year students and reading marathon as well. So if you scan that should take you to the Moodle page. The Moodle page looks a bit like this. So the reading level test is at the top. So you can do the reading level test through the Read Now Moodle page if you want. Okay, you can also on there, that's the just explanation of how to do the test. Okay, you can also do it on a website that I mentioned before. Okay, they also have the test, so go to What's My Level. Okay, so once you've found your level, you then want to choose a book that is interesting for you. Okay, you don't want to read a boring book, otherwise it's not fun. And we want it to be fun, remember. So the books in the library are organised into different genres. Now a genre is just a type of book. So think about films as a good example. So films have genres too. like an action film, like a horror film, like a romance film. These are all different types of genre. And graded readers and books, novels in general, also can be divided into different genres. So the genres in our library for the graded readers are crime, classics, so this is famous stories like Pride and Prejudice, for example. Ones based on TV and film, or the other way around. So, for example, we have, I can't remember, but we've got some James Bond books in the library. Like Casino Royale, I know we have that book in the library. Human interest, this is a few different things. So it could be romance, it could be drama, based around family. We have non-fiction books, so not stories. It could be biographies, things based on real life. Books which are a collection of short stories based around a similar topic, maybe ghost stories, for example. And then we just have a category called other, because we had a few left over. So there's some adventure or sci-fi books, but we don't have very many. So we just put them all together in one category. Okay, so that's how to choose a book. These are the labels in the library. So you can see these genre labels on the bookshelves. And as you can see, they've got coloured stickers. So if you pick up a book in the library, one sticker will show the level, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. One sticker will show the genre. So remember, we've got different colours for the different genres. Okay, so hopefully this can help you choose a book that's both at the right level and is interesting to you. Okay, so just some advice if you want to do extensive reading. This is not my advice, actually. This is from some experts on extensive reading. I'm not an expert. I'm just interested in it. I'm just a senior tutor. Okay, so choose books that are interesting. Choose books that are easy. Don't use a dictionary. Aim for general understanding. It doesn't have to be too detailed understanding. You just need to understand the story. Skip words you don't know. So don't use a dictionary, just keep reading. Be realistic about how much you can read each week. So that might mean setting a target. I tell my RWAC students, some of whom are in the audience today, I can see, I tell them, be realistic, do 10 minutes every day. That's realistic, and make it a habit. So try to make it a habit and do it every day, just a small amount every day. That way you're more likely to continue doing it over a long period of time. Okay, and the other thing that you can do is just keep a record of the books you are reading. And this can help with motivation to help maintain your interest. Okay, so there are some reading logs on the Moodle page that I mentioned before. This is what they look like, and this is where they are. Okay, so just below the reading level test. Okay, so final thing to remember. One thing to remember, if you only remember one thing from this talk, I want it to be this. Okay, learning a language is unique. Okay, it's not like learning other subjects. It's different. It's different to learning historical facts. It's different to learning algebra. It's different to learning about economic theories. It's different to learning how to play tennis or to learn to swim. Different to learning how to play the piano. different to anything else. Okay, I think language learning is unique in the way that you learn it. And that means how you learn it must also be different to how you learn other things. Okay, don't just go through the same process that you do when you're learning algebra, for example. Okay, I think that's enough for now. So, thank you very much.
I think I'm just busy making friends with teens, because they are so amazing. Although Transport Bureau don't allow them to own driving licenses, but I cannot drive either, so who cares? And you know, I'm a teacher. I teach teenagers IELTS and TOEFL, and you know, my students are at different levels. Some of them are, you know, learning really fast, and some of them are not, well, yeah, not so passionate about learning English, but they just have something in common, because they're on the verge of, you know, studying abroad, challenging and mysterious. But I never heard any complaints from them, like, Shama, I'm going to the UK, I'm not so well prepared, or Shama, I'm going to miss my mother so hard, or I cannot sleep home. Instead, they try very hard to improve their language skills. But when shopping festivals like WF Day is approaching, they spend most of their time shopping online, estimation A, like we did, right? But today, I want to share with you guys their manners. They're super good manners from these teens. I guess I had those polite behaviors when I was a kid, but some of it just faded out, and I don't know the reasons. One of my favorite lines from Kate's mom is "Manners makes man," and you know, I think that is to say I am on the very best journey of self-discovery. In my language training school, yeah, I happen to be the teacher and set to my students. And I first want to talk about is that girl, Amber. You know, I learned friendship, we should run friendship like we run a company. Amber, actually, I call her little cake, because she loves eating those cheesy, yummy cakes with melty chocolate topping. And no wonder she's the sweetest girl that I've ever seen. You know what? We Chinese say a long journey tests the strength of a horse, and it was just during my very old days, kind of my career was last year, and you know, I just got irritated quite easily, and anything could be that trigger. And I even did very bad conversations with my mother on the course. I did not manage to give a hand to my very best coursemate. And you know what? My coursemate just asked me to send her some teaching materials because she got planned to a job interview as a math teacher. I did send a copy, but it was already a week after the interview. But Amber just gave me a nice necklace, just like the one that I wear today. It was a necklace with blue stars and a silver moon. I love blue, especially Oxford blue. And you know, together with that necklace, there was a letter she wrote, in which there was a quote that "You are the most graceful star in my heart." That really touched me indeed. And another story that I want to share with you is that she just brought me some oranges from her hometown, Zhongshan, which is not far away from Ningbo, right? And I'm Shamon. Of course, I graduated from this university and majored in English studies. Yeah. And my topic today is my teenager companions and me. Okay, you know, publics just learn from authority. Sometimes we learn balanced lifestyle from our parents, and you know, the knowledge from teachers and dressing style from pop stars or life attitude towards celebrities. But actually, we seldom learn from immature people.
friends with teens because they are so amazing. Although Transport Bureau don't allow them to own driving licenses, but I cannot drive either, so who cares? And you know, I'm a teacher. I teach teenagers IELTS and TOEFL, and you know, my students are at different levels. Some of them are, you know, learning really fast, and some of them are not, well, yeah, not so passionate about learning English, but they just have something in common, because they're on the voyage of, you know, studying abroad, challenging and mysterious. But I never heard any complaints from them like, Shama, I'm going to the UK, I'm not so well prepared, or Shama, I'm gonna miss my mother so hard, or I cannot leave home. Instead, they try very hard to improve their language skills. But when shopping festivals like WF Day is approaching, they spend most of their time shopping online, as I mentioned, and like we did, right? But today, I want to share with you guys is their manners. They're super good manners from these teens. I guess I have those polite behaviors when I was a kid, but some of it just faded out, and I don't know the reasons. One of my favorite lines from Kingsman is manners makes man. And you know, I think that is to say, I am on the very best journey of self-discovery in my language training school. Yeah, I happen to be the teacher and said to my students. And I first want to talk about is that girl Amber. You know, I learned friendship. We should run friendship like we run a company. Amber, actually, I call her little cake because she loves eating those cheesy, yummy cakes with melted chocolate topping. And no wonder she's the sweetest girl that I've ever seen. You know what? We Chinese say a long journey tests the strength of a horse, and it was just during my very old days, kind of my career was last year, and you know, I just got irritated quite easily, and anything could be that trigger. And I even did very bad conversations with my mother on the course. I did not manage to give a hand to my very best coursemate. And you know what? My coursemate just asked me to send her some teaching materials because she got planned to a job interview as an IELTS teacher. I did send a copy, but it was already a week after the interview. But Amber just gave me a nice necklace, just like the one that I wear today. It was a necklace with blue stars and a silver moon. I love blue, especially Oxford blue. And you know, together with that necklace, there was a letter she wrote in which there was a quote that you are the most graceful star in my heart. That really touched me indeed. And another story that I will share with you is that she just brought me some oranges from her hometown, Zhoushan, which is not far away from Ningbo. And the only reason that she bought oranges was just because it's on the market. But we did sell oranges in Ningbo. Let me do a quick research. I'm being just very stupid. Can we got oranges on the campus from the fruit store? Raise your hand. Can we got oranges? Can we buy oranges? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Oranges are just everywhere, right? But I just can't got sense of, you know, very very sweet from the girls. Okay. I guess the friendship to me is worth cultivation and careful gardening, right? And before that, I just think that to my friends, I just give out and never thought about the benefits. But from Amber, I heard that I really have a deeper understanding because she always said that I often step backward and check if my friend and I are on the same page. Okay? The next one that I want to talk about Vivian. She's also my friend. But from her, I learned the value of community. Okay? It's just like 2 years ago, I moved from one region to another in Ningbo. And this region, yes, was not so commercial. Although I got a bigger house as a duplex, but I did not find a clue, where the best supermarket or the laundry or the coffee house are. So everything was so strange. But fortunately, I met Vivian, who just lived a block away from me. And she was my neighbor. So we went to school and went back home together. And sometimes her father will pick up both of us to go back home, just like how we did in the primary school. But most of the time, we took public transportation, such as bus or underground. And on the way back to home, and she just introduced me a kingdom of her world, like where her high schoolers or where the newly opened snack bars. It's a kind of city's discovery, right? And her mother was just as good as her and invited me to their house for many times. But I was a bit shy and I refused at first. But it just after many times, I thought it was kind of rude to say no to such warm invitations, right? So I planned to bring some gifts. But Vivian said that it was, my mother won't let you in if you brought some gifts. That rule was quite strict, right? But, so I was given some oranges again, but this time was cultivated by her grandfather, legendary. And from her, I learned the value of community. We are always searching for a sense of belonging. Like, I think most of you guys are going study abroad in the future. And, being an outsider is not a very cool role to play. So one of my favorite lines from, my lifestyle magazine called Kingfolk, and said that citizens migrate to new places, meet new people. Those people can be friends, co-workers, or neighbors, but those bonds can be strong as family, and that is core community. So I learned the concept of community right from Vivian. Yes, the final story is from Hai Ying. Okay, she was a very kind girl. I learned empathy. Empathy means the concerns for people. And, actually she was like a young adult. But when I just met her last year, she was just 17. And she came to Ningbo alone. The journey from her hometown to Ningbo. It's just like 3 hours by coach to the local airport and 2 hours by air. But at first, she met a very unfriendly friend in Ningbo because she wanted that friend to rent an apartment for her. But that friend just, ignored that request. But she did anyway. It was very amazing. The story was reversed later. That friend wanted an apartment right away and asked Hai Ying to do the same thing. Guess what? She said yes. And she even bargained with the estate agency. But I was very confused about that kind of offer. But she said everyone has a moment. If you could give them a hand, give them a hand. So I guess, most of us are the only kids in the family, right? We're being very self-centered. And, Hai Ying is different. She is the oldest sister in the family and takes good care of the 2 younger brothers. So I think as only kids in the family, perhaps we have to learn how to be caring, right? Okay? Yeah, I'm a teacher, like what I mentioned before, and I added books. There is a question called, do you like to spend time with things? In the book that I've added this season, I would definitely say, yes, why not? My favorite author, Jonathan Bate, noticed very distinguished features of literature right from normal articles. It is a phase of human beings, their capacity not bound by history, not confined by circumstance and time. So if we exemplify this question to our argument, maybe the model that we can learn from is not necessarily the parents, teachers, pop stars, celebrities. Sometimes we could just make a difference. In this case, it could be teens. Thank you very much. And I'm Shamon. Of course, I graduated from this university and majored in English studies. Yeah. And my topic today is my teenager companions and me. Okay. Publics just learn from authority. Sometimes we learn balanced lifestyle from our parents, and the knowledge from teachers and dressing style from pop stars or like attitudes towards celebrities. But actually, we seldom learn from immature people, say teens. That argument is kind of crazy, right? But look at me. I'm 28 years old now, and my family's job is just me to secure a stable job, have a husband, and have a house on a park, etc. But I guess that's not a perfect ending of a fairy tale, right? I think I'm just busy making friends with teens, because they are so amazing. Although Transport Bureau don't allow them to own driving licenses, but I cannot drive either, so who cares? I'm a teacher. I teach teenagers IELTS and TOEFL, and my students are at different levels. Some of them are, learning really fast, and some of them are not so passionate about learning English, but they just have something in common, because they're on the voyage of, studying abroad, challenging and mysterious. But I never heard any complaints from them like, Shama, I'm going to the UK, I'm not so well prepared, or Shama, I'm gonna miss my mother so hard, or I cannot leave home. Instead, they try very hard to improve their language skills. But when shopping festivals like TEDxUNNC is approaching, they spend most of their time shopping online as a mission, like we did, right? But today, I want to share with you guys their manners. Their super good manners from these teens. I guess I have those polite behaviors when I was a kid, but some of it just faded out, and I don't know the reasons. One of my favorite lines from Kingsman is "Manners makes man," and I think that is to say I am on the very best journey of self-discovery in my language training school. I happen to be the teacher and said to my students, and I first want to talk about is that girl Amber. I learned friendship. We should run friendship like we run a company. Amber, actually, I call her little cake, because she loves eating those cheesy, yummy cakes with melted chocolate topping, and no wonder she's the sweetest girl that I've ever seen. You know what? We Chinese say, a long journey tests the strength of a horse, and it was just during my very old days, kind of my career was last year, and I just got irritated quite easily, and anything could be that trigger, and I even did very bad conversations with my mother on the course. I did not manage to give a hand to my very best coursemate, and you know what, my coursemate just asked me to send her some teaching materials because she got planned to a job interview as an IELTS teacher. I did send a copy, but it was already a week after the interview. But Amber just gave me a nice necklace, just like the one that I wear today. It was a necklace with blue stars and a silver moon. I love blue, especially Oxford blue. And you know, together with that necklace, there was a letter she wrote, in which there was a quote that "You are the most graceful star in my heart." That really touched me indeed. And another story that I will share with you is that she just brought me some oranges from her hometown, Zhoushan, which is not far away from Ningbo, right? And the only reason that she bought oranges was just because it's on the market. But we did sell oranges in Ningbo, right? Let me do a quick research. I'm being just very serious. Can we got oranges on the campus from the fruit store? Raise your hand. Can we got oranges? Can we buy oranges? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Oranges are just everywhere, right? But I just can't got sense of, you know, very very sweet from the girls. Okay. I guess the friendship to me is worth cultivation and careful gardening, right? And before that, I just think that to my friends, I just give out and never thought about the benefits. But from Amber, I heard that I really have a deeper understanding, because she always said that I often step backward and check if my friend and I are on the same page. Okay? The next one that I want to talk about Vivian. She's also my friend, but from her I learned the value of community. Okay? It's just like 2 years ago, I moved from one region to another in Ningbo, and this region, yes, was not so commercial. Although I got a bigger house as a duplex, but I did not find a clue, you know, where the best supermarket or the laundry or the coffee house are. So everything was so strange. But fortunately, I met Vivian, who just lived a block away from me. And she, you know, she was my neighbor. So we went to school and went back home together. And sometimes her father will pick up both of us to go back home, just like how we did in the primary school. But most of the time, we took public transportation, such as bus or underground. And on the way back to home, and she just introduced me a kingdom of her world, like where her high schoolers or where the newly opened snack bars. It's a kind of city's discovery, right? And her mother was just as good as her and invited me to their house for many times. But I was a bit shy and I refused at first. But it just after many times, I thought it was kind of rude to say no to such warm invitations, right? So I planned to bring some gifts. But Vivian said that it was, you know, my mother won't let you in if you brought some gifts. That rule was quite strict, right? But, you know, so I was given some oranges again, but this time was cultivated by her grandfather, legendary. And from her, you know, I learned the value of community. We are always searching for a sense of belonging. Like, I think most of you guys are going study abroad in the future. And, you know, being an outsider is not a very cool role to play. So one of my favorite lines from, you know, my lifestyle magazine called Kingfolk, and said that citizens migrate to new places, meet new people. Those people can be friends, co-workers, or neighbors, but those bonds can be strong as family, and that is core community. So I learned the concept of community right from Vivian. Yes, the final story is from Hai Ying. Okay, she was a very kind girl. I learned empathy. Empathy means the concerns for last year. She was just 17, and she came to Ningbo alone. You know the journey from her hometown to Ningbo. It's just like 3 hours by coach to the local airport and 2 hours by air. But at first, she met a very unfriendly friend in Ningbo because she wanted that friend to rent an apartment for her. But that friend just, ignored that request. But she did anyway. It was very amazing. The story was reversed later. That friend wanted an apartment right away and asked Hai-Ying to do the same thing. Guess what? She said yes. And she even bargained with the estate agency. But I was very confused about that kind of offer. But she said everyone has a moment. If you could give them a hand, give them a hand. So I guess, most of us are the only kids in the family, right? We're being very self-centered. And, Hai-Ying is different. She is the oldest sister in the family and takes good care of the 2 younger brothers. So I think as only kids in the family, perhaps we have to learn how to be caring, right? Okay? Yeah, I'm a teacher, like what I mentioned before, and I added books. There is a question called, do you like to spend time with screens? In the book that I've added this season, I would definitely say, yes, why not? My favorite author, Jonathan Bate, noticed the very distinguished features of literature right from normal articles. It is a phase of human beings, their capacity not bound by history, not confined by circumstance and time. So if we exemplify this question to our argument, maybe the model that we can learn from is not necessarily the parents, teachers, pop stars, celebrities. Sometimes we could just make a difference. In this case, it could be kings. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, so we have the first speaker who will just start with a game. It's just a very, very easy riddle. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, come on. One more time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Let me try this. This is the first one. This is the correct question. Okay. So, first question. What starts with the letter T is filled with T and ends with T? Anyone? If you know the math. Yeah? T and T. Go ahead. What's your answer? I'll come to you. Not quite there yet, but clue. I'll give you a clue. Start with T and with T, fill with T, you can drink it. Oh, wait. It's something, well, you can drink that, but it's good in something. T what? Chinese, I know this word in Chinese. T what? T what? Teapot, correct. Can I help you? And good job. Okay, let's do one more game. Okay, teapot. I love this game. Anyway, this one. What is a 5-letter word, but it becomes shorter if you add 2 letters. Anyone? Shoe? Short? Correct, good job. Short. So what do you add? Maybe I'll just rush you. You're too far away from me. You like lollipop? It's a food. So short, you just add ER, right? It's not short. Now, let's continue with the next one. Question. Can you hum when you're holding your nose? Can you hum? Yes or no? Everyone can answer this one. Can you do it? Yes. Can you hum? Really? Really? You can hum when you hold your nose? up for me though. It does? Who can tell when you hold your nose? No one, right? Now, can you raise your hand if just now you tried this action? You hold your nose and try to hum. Who tried it? So what? And the fact didn't do it? Anyway, okay. So quite a lot of you did try to do it. So when it's something that you can try and learn by experience, you can do it, right? The answer is no, but it would. Okay? So, how about play a game? Do you know this game called TEDxUNNC? XO. And that is XO. No! Okay, maybe you can play this game later. After the talk, let's play it. I'll teach you how to play it then. Anyway, the game is that you want to connect three of the same symbol together. So if you're O, you want to connect three O. If you're X, you want to connect three X. And then each one would take turns playing. Now, but then, any time this game will end up when no one's a winner because there's only two and you only get two symbols in the box. And, however, what's the theme of our talk today? One more time. Okay, so this is about thinking outside the box. Sometimes you don't have to always stick with the rule that only 9 boxes. You can think of a way to make it more creative or come out of the box so you can find a solution to something. Okay? Okay, so I forgot to introduce myself. I think they already did a good job introducing me. My name is Tiffany Chen. Okay, I'm also from Thailand. Now, my topic today is related to the theme of the salon today, but about learning outside the box. Because from my past experience, I have done quite a lot of stuff. So that's what they were like going back and forth talking about me just now. Now, since I've done quite a lot of stuff, I have experience being with quite a lot of people from different ages and also from different faculty, from different institutions. So these are some of the places I work with, work for, or coordinate. Any place you are familiar with? Why? Why is it always Starbucks? There's so many places, but the first thing they did is Starbucks. Anyway, so for Starbucks, I reported the voice for the customer service for them. But there are so many other places that are much more interesting than Starbucks. Anything else? Like UN Foundation, right? I did a youth development program with them. And also, like other universities, you might not know it, but then there's also university here, and MFA of Thailand, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and US Embassy. I coordinated with them for also youth program, doing something like this. Now, starting our talk, do you know Albert Einstein? I see people nodding, but no one is saying anything. Okay, so I assume you all know him. There's a quote that he said, is like, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by the ability to climb a tree, they'll live the whole life thinking that it is stupid. So this means that everyone has your own color, your own talent, but everyone is different, everyone is unique. So you have to find that talent in you, that uniqueness, and then bring it up so you can shine. Don't have to be afraid and stuck in the box. So, about learning. What I do is called entertainment. Entertainment is a theme that I teach while incorporating education. Oh, it's not here, but completely gone. I don't get it either. Incorporating education plus entertainment together. So all my projects, all my programs that I run, it's not only everyone's going to sit here and then read together. Reading is good, actually. We will be listening to it in the next talk. And not only like writing or reciting or repeating from like the PowerPoint or something, but you'll get to do something more active. Okay, so one more. I think I threw in too much quotes here. I thought also like he doesn't teach in school, but then he provides a condition that they can learn by themselves, so that they'll be able to understand. And they, with all the experiences, they'll be able to do it with much more understanding to it. This coincides with another quote by Confucius or Hongzu. Hongzu, right? Anyway, right? My pronunciation is fine? Hongzu. Okay. It said, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, and then if I do, I understand. And that's the point of our talk today, that I want everyone to do, to come up and do it. Not just like see or read or listen or remember, but you have to understand it. Thinking of, I'm going very fast with how it's 20 minutes. I don't have like a whole day anyway. So think of the 4 skills, basic skills that we have. Like a baby, when baby starts to learn, there's this 4 skills, right? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Which one do we start first? We start with like 6 months old can write? No, not really. What's our first skill that we learn? Listening. After listening from your dad or mom saying like, call me dad, or maybe papa, mama, like that, the baby memorize it and they repeat it, right? So from repeating that sound like, okay, mama, 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 they can say mama. So after that, they connect the word mama with the figure. This woman in here, this woman that feeds me, give me milk is mom. So that's how they start learning they start learning by listening, and then they can speak. Now, when can you remember for you? When did you start to read or write? Okay, no one? No one? A, B, C. Okay, write A, write A. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, 5. That's quite late, but 5 no. Okay, let's say maybe when you start going to kindergarten, maybe 3 or before that, it varies depending on like each person. Anyway, but reading and writing comes after you have, mostly comes after when you have attended school already, or you have already had some training. Maybe it's your mom or dad or at school, right? So reading, writing comes after you have already gained the basic knowledge of listening and speaking. So that's how children learn, how babies learn. But for us, we're university students already. Do we have to go through all that cycle from 1 to 4? Yes, no? You think yes or no? Yes? Yeah? Well, yes or no? Okay, so since we already have the basic knowledge and the background of we have already acquired more skills than baby, we don't have to follow every single step when we want to learn a new language or a new experience. For example, for me, I don't know how to speak Chinese, right? Coming here, I don't only just study listening from the beginning and then repeat, but I study listening, speaking, and reading, writing a little bit, incorporating at the same time. Because when we already have the background and basic knowledge down, the fundamental skills, we can learn faster. And it's not only about language though, it's all about almost everything in life. Now, this is something that when you really start to learn something, the hardest part in life is the first step, to go there and to do it, right? So, how do you start to do something new? You have to be interested in it. There must have that spark in you, that relates like that pulls you in, that lures you in. If not, I don't think anyone would want to learn anything if you're not interested in it, unless you're forced to do so, like in university. For me, accounting in particular. Please don't tell Peter. You don't know Peter, right? Peter's not here, right? Okay, cool. Sorry, can you delete that part out? Anyway, okay. Back to the talk. If you're not interested in something, you won't put the effort into doing it. Well, unless there's break, anyhow. So if you're interested in something, that will be the first step that push you forward and make you put that more effort into it and put more time into it. That's why you will try to do it despite the difficulty or despite all the hurdles in front of it. And you'll make mistakes along the way. This is something new you have never done before. But don't worry. When you make mistakes, you will learn from it. And then you will gain knowledge from it. So you'll be able to do better next time. When you study here, you have to write quite a lot of essays, right? And then they kind of grade you with red pen and stuff. Or not? I don't know. Do they? Or it's like online stuff. They kind of grade you in some way. They give you comments. And then you will know that, hey, I should not do this anymore next time. Or then, right? I think your tutor at the back, you grade us like that. And they won't make the same mistake, right? Or ideally, they won't make the same mistake. So anyhow, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn, and you won't do it. Eventually, you won't do it anymore. So even though you make mistakes, you try again and try harder. Sometimes there will be different angles of correcting your mistakes. When you see, so for homework, there's this red pen, mark you down for not adding articles. Next time, for example, okay? Next time you will learn that, hey, if there's this kind of, I'm writing this type of essay again, I need to have articles. Maybe not just from remembering that red mark, but it can also be from reading something else. So you can incorporate every kind of activity in your life into learning a new skill. Did you get it? Maybe I can stand again. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Good? Okay. Now, I want you to keep in mind that no matter what you learn, you can learn anything, anytime. Anytime is learning time. If you have the heart to do it, if you're interested in it, you will always gain knowledge. No matter where you are or when you are. And the key is that when you're interested in something, you can learn, especially from other people. No matter especially if those people have the same interest or same knowledge, you'll be able to share and also gain knowledge from each other. And you will also be helping each other to walk forward together as well. And since we already have like the curriculum activities as well, right? What club are you in? But before that, you were in a club, right? For example. Okay, the speech team. So, thank you. What's your name?
Like Peter and then Tiffany, they have so many experiences. I'm only a year 4 student, to be honest with you. But if we change the box into a familiar term in my subject, international communications, that will be big out of my comfort zone. So yes, I did some introspection about myself, and yeah, I did lots of a little bit wild and crazy things in my university life. And in that case, I would like to share some stories of my personal experiences. But for those who might don't know me, or for those who just read my brief background information in the brochure, you might just find that I'm going to talk something like 10 secret tips to essay writing, or some successful experience about my marketing or advertising internships. But no, that's not the topic of my speech today. And what I'm going to introduce you, or to share with you guys today, is a really old-fashioned term, and that is trust. And what is trust? We might heard this term from our parents, from lots of our society discourses, say that don't trust. Why? Because strangers, because new things, because of new environments. They are uncertain. We might only live in our safe patterns in order to get the safety way and the successful way to our beautiful lives, right? And yeah, of course, our previous disappointments or failures. There's something like, yeah, I met a stranger in Shanghai, and he told me that he would give me a nice talk in a hotel room, but I accidentally found that no, he robbed me of all of my stuff and my belongings. And that's why we don't trust. It's just so natural for us. We take for and there were several girls behind me. They don't even put smiles on my faces. And I don't know why. And I started to introspect, to think about that. And there was one embarrassing moment when I was in Edinburgh traveling. And it was a freezing late night. Me and my friends were waiting for our taxi back to the hotel. And at that moment, the Christmas season, there were lots of news reports saying that residents should not be go outside during the late night because you're dangerous, you will be robbed. And I adopted put my alarm on, and because I didn't want to be robbed. Yeah, everyone don't want to be robbed, right? And at that time, someone patted on my shoulder, and I was so shocked. I was doing this gesture, and I was ready to fight with him. But at the second, the thing happened that me almost cried. That stranger, with his wife, passed me some pink blossoms to me and my friends, saying that, "Hey, beautiful ladies, here's some Christmas gifts for you." That was so kind, right? That was so kind of them. And I was even ashamed of myself being so skeptical to them at the first time, and I was so sad about that. So, yes, trust. Trust is something really basic, but we almost forgot about that. So, at that time, I thought to myself, why not we try first? Why not I try first to trust someone else? So there were several experiences I will share you guys later, and one of them I didn't even tell my parents. So promise me that don't tell them about that. And let's start with the first secret one. And I will give you some hints about my first experience. The first one is road trip, 3 countries, 5 days. You might not get surprised about that, right? It's just like normal, like fantastic or some romantic trip. But the other one is with a divorced man. And alone, me and the divorced man who aged like 30 and I was only 19. And that happened in Europe. And because I didn't get the consent for posting his photos in this talk. So instead of that, I post up some nice pictures of the nice views. Yeah. And okay, so background for that divorced man. He was my tour guide when I was 8th grade, when our school organized a European trip. And he was the youngest one, and me and my friends, we found harmony among us, and we did lots of happy conversations when I was 8th grade. And we keep that contact until the freshman year, I guess, yes. And I told him that I would go to Europe for summer school. And he said, yes, let's do a reunion trip, road trip to that. So we started from Berlin, Germany, and with his Audi car, sports car, and we went to Prague in Czech Republic, and then we finished in a romantic village called Harstadt in Austria. And yeah, this is Prague. That was freshman Zoe, and this someone, lots of people dancing freely into the public, to the tourists in Prague. And that is Harstadt. Someone might know, someone may not know, Harstadt is one of the most beautiful villages in the world, one of the 10 most beautiful villages in the world. So, yes, I trust him for this, our friendship, and not being beyond the line. And for responses like, what? Are you insane? Are you a normal girl? What happened? Are you going to stay? No. They will just like immediately reject me for that. And I do believe that they don't trust me, because that's human. That's the way my parents got to protect me. But I choose to trust that man, because yeah, trusting strangers isn't that difficult, right? And once you trust, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be safe or you shouldn't to protect yourself. You still have the right to do all of the things, but the first step is to step out the comfort zone and to trust someone who might seem not that dangerous. Although he was then, why now? Yeah. And this is a lake now patched out. And yeah, so that is the trust to stranger. And trust to things and trust to environment can happen in our like everyday life, I guess. So as we were freshmen, we might get into a new environment, but as lots of my own experience in China, and I did something, yeah, also in Europe. That is, I chose to study alone in 2 European countries, and yes, with a different language that I didn't even know from the beginning. And 1 month, one small city, study alone. That was quite a new challenge to me, because at the first time my English wasn't that good. It just I could speak, and that's it. So okay, the first one is, does anyone know this city? No, I guess no. The first city and the only city you can mention about Netherlands is Amsterdam, right? So has anyone know that there are lots of summer school choices for our university students? Yes. And I was once supposed to go to Amsterdam University for summer school exchange, but I found that there's no specific relevant modules for me to study. And then I figured out that there were actually some new programs conducted in a city called Utrecht, or Utrecht as Dutch. And I did it alone, because nobody gonna apply me, because they think it's a new city, it's an unknown city. I won't learn anything from that. So I did my trip on my own. And that's the like WeChat's normal post. And does anyone know Tour de France? 环法联赛. It's a bicycle trace, yeah. So unfortunately, yes, I found that Tour de France was actually supposed to happen in France, right? Started at France, but it happened in Utrecht, and it's just near my accommodation. And I managed from Amsterdam to take the train to Utrecht, and I managed to get the bus from the register center to my dormitory, who I shared the flat with 6 people, and half of them they cannot speak Chinese or English. So yeah, I used to live in my comfort zone, because I don't want to speak English. That's the way out of my comfort zone. Why shouldn't I? I just need to hang out with my Chinese friend and live with them. That would be so easy for me to eat Chinese food every day. And I don't need to bear cold milk and cold bread every day. You know, some European countries, they prefer cold things in every meal. So yes, and I managed to learn, does anyone studies here. Yes, and you might know lots of things about religions or history things, but for me, it's like, no, I would never do like that because I'm a political student in my hometown. And so religious, historic things is my subject in summer school, and it's completely new things. I know nothing. I know no vocabularies about the histories and especially religions, and especially something that not happening in China. And that was a challenge, and that continued for 1 month. And then I managed to learn lots of friends with different backgrounds and with different languages, and we enjoyed the moment because we put trust on each other, and I put the trust on the new things and the new environment because I know the new environment will adopt and embrace me as a foreign learning girl. It's just something, yeah, it just put our belief inside our hearts and step out. I want to show you guys this photo because, as you can see, there are 6 persons in this photo, and we actually have shared 6 nationalities: Austria, Hungary, Romania, Singaporean, China, and can I say China, Hong Kong is another nationality? Sorry. Okay. And that was an amazing experience I ever had. Because we have different political statements. We have different hobbies. We have different languages. And at that lunch, this is actually our farewell lunch. We talk about future plans, and we found that everyone is going into different directions, and everyone is so ambitious about their future plan. But at that moment, we trust each other in that summer school, and we trust that we could have a harmonious environment in that place. It was just so precious for me to have those friends, and we still keep connect with each other. And the other experience and the last experience I want to share with you guys is it happened last year before I went to Nottingham for exchange. So as you might know, I learned second language German in UNC, but the teaching speed and the course isn't really intensive. So I decided not to take a course in China to have some like grammar exercises and, according to Peter, explicit knowledge learning. So I decided to choose to learn in an implicit way. I chose Heidelberg, an unknown academy. For me, I think that's the best. That's the perfect academy to learn German in a really small city called Heidelberg. I think you don't know that, right? Do you know? No. Yeah. It's really a lovely city, small city, but it's also how can I say, a historic city. And that was, I think my accommodation trip isn't really good because every time when I was assigned to accommodation to share friends with someone, it always comes from some like new environments. So I was assigned with 4 other people, and the other 4 people turned out to buy any foods or any groceries for myself. And all my flatmates, I don't even know their names. They just offer me some plates, some forks, and cold milk, and some bread for me to eat. And we have a nice talk at that night. On the first night I went to Germany. At that time my German wasn't that fluent, and we talk in English with difficulty because we have different accents. It's really hard for us to understand each other. And that night I decided that trust can make me to embrace the new environment and to learn new things and to experience more. Yeah, true. Like, this is the view from my dormitory. Every morning I wake up, like, yeah, nice view, new day starts. But still, like, learning isn't really hard, isn't really easy. And I spend my all nights in my dormitory to learn German. And we like my flatmates, we have different level of Germans. So they help me a lot when I have difficulties. And sometimes we even study German in our sharing hall. And they help me a lot, and I taught them Chinese, and we share our culture things. That's some, like, as I say, a harmonious environment between us, right? And I think that is good for us to grow up. And that girl, so she was the exchange student from Bremen, a small city from Germany, and she changed to UNC the year I went in. So we met somehow we made a connection with each other. And after she came back to Germany, she said that, hey Zoe, you can visit me sometime in Germany. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'll just take that, like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, sure. And there was never a chance for me to meet her again. But we managed. She flew from Bremen. Like, Bremen is like North Germany, and Heidelberg is South Germany. So she flew from Bremen to Heidelberg for only visiting. And I was so surprised, I was so touched, because that friendship lasts so long time, and that was like really precious for me to trust someone that she can still have me. Yeah, and that's my like Heidelberg F4 Academy. We have lots of nationalities here in the picture. Yeah. And so anyway, what I want to share with you guys today is trust. So trust is that easy. Trust isn't that difficult. Trust is the first move to step out our comfort zone, our like being enemy to each other, to a stranger. That's our comfort zone, right? And trust in yourself, trust in ourselves. Like, I can manage all of the things. I can do best. I can be friendly to you, and we are friends. You're not going to rob my wallet. And trust in others, trust in the environment. And the reason why I have this topic for you today, because I took a psychology course in my first year. And I think you guys should have listened to that lecture that was taught by Lily. And it's really helped us to learn about ourselves, to learn our inner self, to learn something natural, to learn something that we have forgotten for so long time. And yes, trust is one of the things she told me, and she reminded me precisely to say that. Because I feel that in our society right now, I cannot feel trust. Like, I cannot put my smiling face with you guys if we were strangers working on the road. You would just play my phones and meet with 4 other people, and the other 4 people turned out to be guys. So 4 guys with 1 girl, and the other 4 guys, I think they are South African or white Chinese, and I barely see them. And I was so scared the first time, like, oh my god, 1 girl with the other 4 guys. No way, for 1 month. Well, how can I do about that? We shared the same toilet and the same bathroom. And yeah, that was so crazy, I think, at the moment I stepped in. But, so the first move they offered to me is at the first night. You know, Germany, the German supermarkets were closed so early. So like 5 o'clock, they close already. And I was unable to buy any foods or any groceries for myself. And all my flatmates, I don't even know their names. They just offered me some plates, some forks, and cold milk and some bread for me to eat. And we have a nice talk at that night. On the first night I went to Germany. At that time my German wasn't that good. And we talk in English with difficulty because we have different accents. It's really hard for us to understand each other. And that night I decided that trust can make me to embrace the new environment and to learn new things and to experience more. Yeah, true. Like, this is the view from my dormitory. Every morning I wake up, like, yeah, nice view, new day starts. But still, like, learning isn't really hard, isn't really easy. And I spend my all nights in my dormitory to learn German. And we like my classmates, we have different level of Germans. So they help me a lot when I have difficulties. And sometimes we even study German in our sharing hall. And they help me a lot, and I taught them Chinese, and we share our culture things. That's some, like, let's just say, a harmonious environment between us, right? And I think that is good for us to grow up. And that girl, so she was the exchange student from Bremen, a small city from Germany, and she changed to UNC the year I went in. So we met up, somehow we made a connection with each other. And after she came back to Germany, she said that, hey Zoe, you can visit me sometime in Germany. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'll just take that, like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, sure. And there was never a chance for me to meet her again, but we managed. She flew from Bremen. Like, Bremen is like North Germany, and Heidelberg is South Germany. So she flew from Bremen to Heidelberg for only visit me. And I was so surprised, I was so touched, because that friendship lasts so long time, and that was like really precious for me to trust someone that she can still have me. Yeah, and that's my like Heidelberg S1 Academy. We have lots of nationalities there in the picture. Yeah. And so anyway, what I want to share with you guys today is trust. So trust is that easy. Trust isn't that difficult. Trust is the first move to step out our comfort zone, our like being enemy to each other, to a stranger. That's our comfort zone, right? And trust in yourself, trust in ourselves. Like I can manage all of the things. I can do best. I can be friendly to you, and we are friends. You're not going to rob my wallet. And trust in others, trust in the environment. And the reason why I have this topic for you today because I took a psychology course in my fourth year. And I think you guys should have listened to the lecture that was taught by Lily. And it's really helped us to learn about ourselves, to learn our inner self, to learn something natural, to learn something that we have forgotten for so long time. And yes, trust is one of the things she told me, and she reminded me precisely to say that. Because I feel that in our society right now, I cannot feel trust. Like, I cannot put my smiling face with you guys if we were strangers walking on the road. You won't just play my phones and not see you. No. See ya. It's like that. But why not? Why not try to live in a way that this trust can make everyone happy, right? And I think that is important for you. And learning and experience and to be happy. Thank you guys. Yeah, that's all. I actually consider myself as a person who dances freely within the box, because I'm not so thinking critical like Peter and Tiffany. They have so many experiences. I'm only a year 4 student, to be honest with you. But if we change the thing, the box, into a familiar term in my subject, international communications, that will be think out of my comfort zone. So yes, I did some introspection about myself, and I did lots of a little bit wild and crazy things in my university life. And in that case, I would like to share some stories about my personal experiences. But for those who don't know me, or for those who just read my brief background information in the brochure, you might just find that I'm going to talk something like 10 secret tips to essay writing, or some successful experience about my marketing or advertising internships. But no, that's not the topic of my speech today. And what I'm going to introduce you or to share with you guys today is a really old-fashioned term, and that is trust. And what is trust? We might heard this term from our parents, from lots of our society's bosses say that don't trust. Why? Because strangers, because new things, because of new environments. They are uncertain. We might only live in our safe patterns in order to get the safety way and the successful way to our beautiful lives, right? And of course, our greatest disappointments or failures. There's something like, I met a stranger in Shanghai, and he told me that he would give me a nice talk in a hotel room, but accidentally found that no, he robbed me of all of my stuff and my belongings. And that's why we don't trust. It's just so natural for us. We take for granted not to trust everyone. And we put our skeptical face to everything. Even when I was in the elevator in building 12, I was just I walked into the elevator, and there were several girls behind me. They don't even put smiles on my faces. And I don't know why. And I started to introspect, to think about that. And there was one embarrassing moment when I was in Edinburgh traveling. And it was a freezing late night. Me and my friends were waiting for our taxi back to the hotel. And at that moment, the Christmas season, there were lots of news reports saying that residents should not go outside during the late night because you're dangerous, you are being robbed. And I undoubtedly put my a long mom. And because I didn't want to be robbed, yeah, everyone don't want to be robbed, right? And at that time, someone patted on my shoulder, and I was so shocked. I was doing this gesture, and I was ready to fight with him. But at the second, the thing happened that we almost cried. That stranger, with his wife, passed me some pink blossoms to me and my friends, say that, "Hey, beautiful ladies, here's some Christmas gifts for you." That was so kind, right? That was so kind of them. And I was even ashamed of myself being so skeptical to them at the first time, and I was so sad about that. So, yes, trust. Trust is something really basic, but we almost forgot about that. So, at that time, I spoke to myself, why not we try first? Why not I try first to trust someone else? So, there were several experiences I will show you guys later, and one of them I didn't even tell my parents. So, promise me that don't tell them about that. And let's start with the first secret one. And I will give you some hints about my first experience. The first one is road trip, 3 countries, 5 days. You might not get surprised about that, right? It's just like normal, like fantastic or some romantic trip. But the other one is with a divorced man. And alone, me and the divorced man who ages like 30 and I was only 19. And that happened in Europe. And because I didn't get the consent for posting his photos in this talk, so instead of that, I post up some nice pictures of the nice views. So yeah. And okay, so background for that divorcement. He was my tour guide when I was 8th grade when our school organized a European trip. And he was the youngest one, and me and my friends, we found harmony among us, and we did lots of happy conversations when I was 8th grade. And we keep that contact until the freshman year, I guess, yes. And I told him that I will go to Europe for summer school. And he said, yes, let's do a reunion road trip to that. So we started from Berlin, Germany, and with his Audi car, sports car, and we went to Prague in Czech Republic, and then we finished in a romantic village called Hallstatt in Austria. And yeah, this is Prague. That was freshman Zoe, and there's lots of people dancing freely into the public, to the tourists in Prague. And that is Hallstatt. Someone might know, someone may not know. Hallstatt is one of the most beautiful villages in the world, one of the 10 most beautiful villages in the world. So, yes, I trust him for our friendship and not being beyond the line. And for that trust, we keep really good in this road trip. But can you imagine if you or I tell my parents, okay, hi mom, I'm going to a road trip with a divorced man who ages 30. What's their responses? Like, what? Are you insane? Are you a normal girl? What happened? Are you going to stay? No. They would just immediately reject me for that. And I do believe that they don't trust me. Because that's human. That's the way my parents got to protect me. But I choose to trust that man. Because, yeah, trust to strangers isn't that difficult, right? And once you trust, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be safe or you shouldn't to protect yourself. You still have the right to do all of the things, but the first step is to step out the comfort zone and to trust someone who might seem not that dangerous. Although he was then, why now it's, yeah. And this is a leg ground touched up. And yeah, so that is the trust to the stranger. And trust to things and trust to environment can happen in our everyday life, I guess. So as we were freshmen, we might get into a new environment, but as lots of you, my own experience in China, and I did something, also in Europe. That is, I chose to study alone in 2 European countries, and yes, with a different language that I didn't even know from the beginning. And 1 month, one small city, study alone. That was quite a new challenge to me because at the first time my English wasn't that good. It just I could speak and that's it. So okay, the first one is, does anyone know this city? No, I guess no. The first city and the only city you can mention about Netherlands is Amsterdam, right? So has anyone know that there are lots of summer school choices for our university students? Yes. And I was once supposed to go to Amsterdam University for summer school exchange, but I found that there's no specific relevant modules for me to study. And then I figured out that there were actually some new programs conducted in a city called Utrecht or Utrecht as Dutch. And I did it alone because nobody gonna apply me because they think it's a new city, it's an unknown city. I won't learn anything from that. So I did my trip on my own. And that's the WeChat normal post. And does anyone know Tour de France? One side. It's a bicycle trace. Yeah. So unfortunately, yes, I found that Tour de France was actually supposed to happen in France, right? Started at France, but it happened in Utrecht. And it's just near my accommodation. And I managed from Amsterdam to take the train to Utrecht, and I managed to get the bus from the register center to my dormitory, who I shared the flat with 6 people, and half of them they cannot speak Chinese or English. So yeah, I used to live in my comfort zone because I don't want to speak English. That's the way out of my comfort zone. Why shouldn't I? I just need to hang out with my Chinese friend and live with them. That would be so easy for me to eat Chinese food every day. And I don't need to bear cold milk and cold bread every day. You know, some European countries they prefer cold things in every meal. So yes, and I managed to learn. Does anyone learn international studies here? Yes, and you might learn lots of things about religions or history things, but for me it's like, no, I would never do like that. This I'm a political student in my hometown, and so religious historic things is my subject in summer school, and it's completely new things. I know nothing. I know no vocabularies about the histories, and especially religions, and especially something that's not happening in China, and that was a challenge, and that continued for 1 month. And then I managed to learn lots of friends with different backgrounds and with different languages, and we enjoyed the moment because we put trust on each other, and I put the trust on the new things and the new environment because I know the new environment will adopt it, embrace me as a foreign learning girl. It's just something, it just put our belief inside our hearts and step out. I want to show you guys this photo because, as you can see, there are 6 persons in this photo, and we actually have shared 6 nationalities: Austria, Hungary, Romania, Singaporean, China, and when I say China, Hong Kong is another nationality. Sorry. Okay. And that was an amazing experience I ever had. Because we have different political statements. We have different topics. We have different languages. And at that lunch, this is actually our farewell lunch. We talk about future plans. And we found out everyone is going into different directions. And everyone is so ambitious about their future plan, but at that moment, we trust each other in that summer school, and we trust that we could have a harmonious environment in that place. It was just so precious for me to have those friends, and we still keep connect with each other. And the other experience, and the last experience I want to share with you guys is, it happened last year before I went to Nottingham for exchange. So, as you might know, I learned second language German in UNC, but the teaching speed and the course isn't really intensive. So I decided not to take a course in China to have some grammar exercises and, according to Peter, explicit knowledge learning. So I decided to choose to learn in an implicit way. I chose Heidelberg, an unknown academy. For me, I think that's the best. That's the perfect academy to learn German in a really small city called Heidelberg. I think you don't know that, right? You know? No. Yeah. It's really a lovely city, small city, but it's also a historic city. And that was, I think, my accommodation trip isn't really good because every time when I was assigned to accommodation to share friends with someone, it always comes from some new environments. So